Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking something incredibly fascinating that's happening right now on college campuses all over the world. The big question we're tackling today is, how exactly did global tech campus outreach evolve from, just handing out branded swag and free t-shirts to becoming this highly tracked AI user acquisition funnel? And maybe more importantly, what does this actually mean for the students who are participating right now?
Okay, let's just dive right into our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting 6 key areas. 1, the Google Campus Prestige. 2, from brands to developers. 3, the Gemini AI pivot. 4, a tale of two models. 5, tracking the AI hustle. And 6, is it worth it? Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Google Campus Prestige. Before we get into the heavy corporate strategy and all the hard data, we really have to talk about the prestige factor. There is just this sheer, undeniable excitement associated with landing any role attached to a massive global tech giant. Take a look at this real Reddit post from a first-year computer science student in Bangalore. They wrote, "Super excited to share that I've been selected as a Google Student Ambassador 2026. You can absolutely feel the pride right there." Getting selected generates a massive amount of social media buzz for these students. It's this highly distinguished line on a resume, and it comes with the promise of exclusive access, mentorship, and getting to represent one of the world's most recognizable brands. Moving right along to Section 2, from brands to developers. To truly understand what the 2026 program is aiming for, we kind of have to rewind and look at how Google's mission on university campuses has fundamentally shifted over the years. Historically, you can see a very clear evolution in their corporate priorities. Way back in 2011, Google launched the original Google Student Ambassador, or GSA program. Now, this was an era heavily focused on broad brand awareness. Then, in 2016, they wrapped that up and pivoted to Google Developer Student Clubs, which completely focused on hard developer skills. And now, in 2026, we're seeing the launch of the Gemini Ambassador program, which marks yet another massive pivot, this time directly toward AI user acquisition. Let's move to see how this builds, because it's pretty wild. That original GSA program, it was basically about general digital literacy and brand equity. Think evangelizing Google Workspace or just basic search features. But as the internet matured, Google realized, wait, we have a massive developer deficit. We literally need more software engineers. So the Developer Student Club started focusing on peer-to-peer technical learning, stuff like cloud computing, Android, and Flutter. But jump to today, the 2026 Gemini program is an entirely different beast. It is a highly targeted campaign focused squarely on generative AI. So really, the overarching tech trends of the decade have entirely dictated what Google needs from college students. Which brings us to Section 3, the Gemini AI pivot. So here we are in the present day, focusing aggressively on the 2026 campaign to get the Gemini platform directly into the hands of college students. This program marks a massive strategic pivot toward generative AI proliferation. This is not just about fostering some vague sense of community on campus anymore. It is a highly targeted, strategic campaign designed to drive active awareness and daily usage of Gemini for academic and personal tasks. Things like exam prep or summarizing massive research papers. Google's goal is incredibly clear. They want Gemini to be the default AI for the next generation of professionals. And by the way, getting into this program is not a walk in the park. There is a grueling 5-part video submission process for candidates. First, you start with a self-introduction, then a product pitch, a campus insight, a totally candid explanation of a failure experience, and finally, a creative challenge. To give you a sense of what this actually looks like in practice, during the product pitch section, one successful applicant actually pitched a standard BlendJet portable blender as if it were a brand new Google product, just to prove their marketing and branding savvy. So yeah, they are looking for highly capable, highly creative advocates. All right, Section 4, a tale of two models. Now, we're going to see a major shift in the narrative here, because Google executes this 2026 program in starkly different ways depending on where you happen to live in the world, and this brilliantly illustrates the global divide. Over in the US, it's a formal, remote, paid internship. We're talking a pro rata salary between $46,000 and $61,500. It's direct employment for 1 semester, fully compliant with local labor laws. Meanwhile, over in India, there is absolutely no guaranteed stipend. It is an unpaid experiential framework that is managed by third-party marketing agencies like Communique and Ping. And on top of that, it demands a full year of commitment. If we look specifically at the US, the rules are incredibly strict. US ambassadors are strictly prohibited from holding concurrent employment with competing AI platforms. Literally, you cannot work for the competition. Google treats this as a highly competitive, formal corporate engagement. These students are expected to put in up to 15 hours a week, hosting events, leading prompt battles, and basically acting as the exclusive on-campus face of Google AI. Next up, Section 5, Tracking the AI Hustle.
So let's transition from the high-level corporate strategy down to the ground-level reality of the daily work. Because behind all that prestige is a very strict, metrics-driven QR code hustle. The crucial point here is the mathematical formula Google uses to track this peer-to-peer user acquisition funnel. It goes like this. 1 verified engagement equals 1 unique QR scan plus 1 validated student profile. Ambassadors are not just blindly handing out flyers. They have to get students to actively scan a unique, prompt-linked QR code and register their academic details into a web app. And the targets? They are intense. 1,250. That is the cumulative target of unique verified student scans expected over the course of an active campaign for regional ambassadors. Let that sink in. To hit a number like that, ambassadors have to get incredibly creative with gamified outreach and setting up interactive help desks. It is a massive numbers game. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, couldn't a student just scan their own code 1,000 times to hit that quota? Yeah, think again. Google uses intense anti-fraud protocols on their web app. They use device fingerprinting to block self-scans. They use deduplication verification to stop repeated scans from the exact same student. And they use one-time passwords and system notifications to ensure every single profile is an authentic, real-world user. They aren't messing around. They're extracting highly validated user acquisition data. Finally, Section 6. Is it worth it? For our final evaluation, let's pull back from the corporate strategy and look at the highly relatable ground-level student experience. With all this intense work and tracking, is this program actually beneficial for the students? Well, not everyone thinks so. Take this incredibly blunt Reddit critique of the Ambassador program, which simply reads, "Don't waste your time on these stuff." I think this really captures a very real anxiety and skepticism that a lot of students feel. Many of them realized pretty quickly that the role was extremely heavy on marketing and product promotion, which might not actually align with their long-term career goals.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how clearly it separates the utility of the program depending entirely on your specific career track. If you are a marketing or business student, honestly, this program is absolute gold. It offers highly valuable PR, event management, and data-driven campaign experience with a literal global brand. However, if you are a computer science student and you're hoping to be a software engineer, you are probably way better off spending your time coding, competing in a hackathon, or building open source projects. Because at the end of the day, competitive technical interviews care about your knowledge of algorithms, not how many QR codes you manage to get scanned.
Which leaves us with one final provocative question to chew on. Are these massive ambassador programs genuinely shaping the future of education and student leadership? Or are they simply a highly cost-effective way for massive tech companies to extract user acquisition from eager, prestige-hungry students? It's a completely fascinating dynamic, and one that will undoubtedly continue to evolve as the AI wars heat up. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I definitely encourage you to look closely at the outreach happening on a campus near you.